Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner. It's our transfer daily show with me, Harry Symeou. We'll be running through all the latest transfer rumours and transfer stories involving the Arsenal. This is a daily feature and it'll be coming to you throughout January. Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by the last man standing with loserpool.com. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou. And on the very first edition of this month's transfer daily shows, we're going to be talking through a whole host of stories. We're going to be keeping you updated with everything that's going on in regards to Arsenal, in regards to transfers and various other bits and pieces that will, of course, crop up through the month. A big hello to every single one of you who is watching us live, and of course to those who are listening back or watching back on the replay. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Chronicles_AFC. Follow me at Harry Symeou. Subscribe, like, comment. You know the drill by now. We're going to begin by talking about the news that rocked Arsenal yesterday. Now, we kind of had that feeling. We'd heard various reports about it in the last few days, but it was confirmed yesterday by the club that Callum Chambers has sustained an ruptured anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee. Callum has had successful surgery in London on Thursday, but the rehabilitation process is expected to take between 6 to 9 months. The club also say that everybody will be supporting Callum to ensure he is back on the pitch as soon as possible. Now, this has really changed Mikel Arteta's plans, I'm sure, because Mikel Arteta would have no doubt been looking at strengthening in this January. Of course, we don't believe that Arsenal are going to have a great deal of transfer funds available, but we expect them to do some business, and this will have changed Mikel Arteta's plans. I think he's all but admitted that now things are different. Now, without Callum Chambers, we will need to look at a central defensive option. And as a result of this news, we've been linked with a few central defenders. I'm going to go into a few of those. We're going to touch on those. And we're also going to be discussing the future of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang a little bit later on. So without further ado, let's move on to the first defender that we're being linked with. And this one has come as a little bit of a surprise. It's being reported on transfermarket.co.uk, which is, of course, one of the go-to sites for this sort of information. And it gives you a breakdown, of course, on various players, their statistics and stuff. So it's a really, really useful source, this. But apparently, according to Sky in Germany, Arsenal are considering a move for Jerome Boateng of Bayern Munich after a transfer to Juventus fell through last summer. Boateng is understood to be on the radar of another prestigious club, which is us. As Sky Germany report, Arsenal are considering a move for the 31-year-old and have a solid chance of signing him this month. Now, you'd hope that the influence of somebody like Mesut Ozil would help in this department. Boateng has had his injury problems of late, but, he's a very, very experienced player. According to transfermarket.co.uk, his transfer value currently sits at £13.5 million, which makes him a realistic target. I'm sure we'd have to pay a little bit more than that, probably around the £20 million mark. But even if it's a quick fix, you could see why Arsenal would be willing to do this deal. Now, of course, his contract is due to expire with the German Giants at the end of next season. So they could be looking to offload him at a cut price deal, you would hope anyway. If I just click into Jerome Boateng's profile, this is a player who is very, very experienced. He's only made 9 appearances in the Bundesliga this season because he is out of favour. That's understandable given his age, given the fact that Bayern Munich have moved on a little bit. But Arsenal need a quick fix. And that's why Jerome Boateng is an appealing option. He's somebody with a great deal of experience. If you click on his honours list, you will see he was the Footballer of the Year in Germany in 2016. He's won the World Cup, of course, with Germany alongside Mesut Ozil. He's won an FA Cup with Manchester City in 2011. He's won the Bundesliga 7 times. Yep, 7 times. He's won the Champions League with them and 4 German Cups. He's also won the FIFA Club World Cup. He was an under-21 European champion. Basically, we'd be getting a player who has won it all. Let's be honest. And I know that, his stats aren't great this season. 9 appearances is not a great deal when you consider how many games have been played so far this season. But we're talking about somebody who has achieved great things in the game. He's a little bit of a veteran now. Yes, injuries have been a bit of an issue, but I genuinely feel like Arsenal are looking for a quick fix here. And this is a quick fix that would bring experience as well to the table. So it wouldn't be the worst option in the world. Let me know what you think about Jerome Boateng. And there's a question coming through here. Is Boateng still good enough apart from his experience? I guess that remains to be seen, my friend. I'll be honest, I'm not a regular watcher of the Bundesliga. He's somebody who, of course, has had better days. There's no doubt about that. As I just scroll through some of his historical fixtures, he is somebody who's had better days. But ultimately, this is somebody who is available for a cut price, we're led to believe, and somebody that would add something to this Arsenal squad. Now, whether he's the future, I don't think so. I think the fact that Arsenal have already signed William Saliba means that, they'd probably be holding on for him. But if Jerome Boateng can plug a hole in the meantime and be sort of a squad player, I don't think it would be the worst move in the world. That's my take on it. Also, looking at his national team career, I mean, Jerome Boateng has played 76 times for Germany. Now, that is no mean feat. You don't play for Germany 76 times if you're not good enough. If you weren't a good player. Now, I understand, and I've said it over and over again, that his best days may be behind him. But for me, this would be a good signing. It's not one that will get me off my seat, but it's not the worst signing in the world. So I wouldn't be completely against this. As Haribo mentions in the comments, he's very experienced and knows his job inside out. Big hello to everybody who's watching us live at the moment. Don't forget to hit that like button. It is really, really important. And of course, to those of you who are listening or watching back, a big hello, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you are tuning in. Right, let's move on to another player that Arsenal are currently being linked with. Here we go. Another centre-half, another one playing in Germany, and it's Dayot Upamecano. And this transfer rumour just won't go away. It's been going on since the summer. Arsenal linked with the RB Leipzig defender. RB Leipzig, of course, currently top of the Bundesliga. You would ask why he would want to leave mid-season, but I guess the pull of Arsenal is still there to some degree. And of course, a club like RB Leipzig are always going to struggle, to hold on to their stars. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just the way of the world. They're not a club who've got a rich history behind them necessarily. They are top of the league now. They are going very well this season, but are they one of the traditional European heavyweights? No, they're not. So, if the money was right, I'm sure Arsenal could prize him away. It's understood that we tried to in the summer. But if we look at Dayot Upamecano's statistics this season, he has played 13 times in the Bundesliga. He's been in RB Leipzig's starting 11 76% of the time. He's played 74% of all their minutes in the Bundesliga. He's also made 5 appearances in the Champions League and 1 appearance in the DFB Pokal. So he's a regular for RB Leipzig. And as I said, RB Leipzig currently sit top of the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich expected to push them in the second half of the season, but we'll have to see. He's 21 years old, born in Évreux in France. Citizenship is French. He's a French international, although he is from Guinea-Bissau originally. He's made... Well, I say he's a French international. He's made appearances for the under-21s, 15 to be specific. He hasn't yet made a senior appearance, but it's understood that that is just around the corner. RB Leipzig paid £9 million for him from RB Salzburg, of course, their sister club in Austria, a club with whom they do plenty of deals. But his current market value at present is apparently £45 million. Now, his market value has reached its peak. It's never been this high before. As you can see from this chart here, in October, it was 36 million. In June, last summer, when we were initially interested, it was 27 million. But now it's understood to have risen to around 36 million pounds. Now, of course, these are the market values that transfermarket.co.uk place on these players. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is what the clubs will accept in terms of a transfer fee. But nonetheless, he's a player that Arsenal continue to be linked with, and a player that lots of Arsenal fans would like to see arrive at the Emirates. Upamecano and Saliba could be the future of Arsenal's central defence. Who knows? It's very early days. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, of course, and I'll be coming back to some of your comments a little bit later on in the show. Moving on to another player that Arsenal are being linked with, and it's another centre-half. This time it's someone who currently plies their trade in the Premier League, and it is Nathan Ake of Bournemouth. Currently injured at the moment is Nathan Ake. His market value is currently around £31.5 million, again, according to transfermarket.co.uk. That was last updated in December. He's made 16 appearances in the Premier League this season. He's scored 1 goal and provided 1 assist, although that's not that important when we're talking about central defenders. But Nathan Ake is somebody who knows the league inside out. I've heard people talking about him and how he would be a good option, and the fact that his Premier League experience stands him in good stead, etc., etc. And I agree with most of that, and if not all of that. The only thing that worries me is Nathan Ake has a terrible injury record. And if we look, if we go into his statistics section, we look at injury history. He's been out for 46 days and 35 days a couple of seasons ago with a hamstring problem. Hamstrings seem to be an issue for Nathan Ake. Looking at it, it's not as bad as I thought it might have been. But for me, Nathan Ake, I don't know. It's not a signing that necessarily gets me up off my seat. Also, you've got to think about this. Chelsea have a buyback clause in Nathan Ake's contract. When they sold him to Bournemouth, they put back in a buyback clause of £40 million. So if they wanted him, they would be the ones to get him. There's no doubt about that. But it remains to be seen whether Frank Lampard is interested in bringing in Nathan Ake again. Now, if you look at Nathan Ake's honours list, it is pretty impressive. All of those were won with Chelsea, of course. 2 Premier Leagues, an English League Cup, a Europa League, and of course the Under-21 Premier League Championship. He's also won some Under-17 championships with the Netherlands, showing his, his caliber. I guess he's an international for the Dutch now, and that is something that obviously as well builds his reputation. He's made 11 appearances for the Netherlands. He was given his debut by Fred Grimm, but he's believed to be somebody who has a bright future ahead of him. Still only 24 years old, which is hard to believe when you consider just how long Nathan Ake has been around for. But 24 years old. It would make sense, but they're going to demand a big fee. There's no doubt about that. And like I said, if Chelsea were interested, they would be in pole position to bring Nathan Ake back to Stamford Bridge. Right, let's move on to another story involving Arsenal. And this story is in regards to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been constantly linked with a move away from Arsenal. There was talks of him stalling on signing a new contract, and whilst we still haven't heard anything in regards to that, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has come out and quashed the rumours that he is going to be leaving the Emirates this January. Mikel Arteta has been highly complimentary of the striker, saying that he wants him to stay. But aside from that, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has come out and said that he is 100% here. He was talking to RMC, I believe, a French outlet, after the Manchester United game. Yep, RMC Sport. He said, the English press likes to talk a lot. For now, I'm here. I'm 100% here. And of course, Goal go on to report that will be music to the ears of Arsenal supporters and the club's new manager, Mikel Arteta. And I have to agree, because as much as sometimes Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang can be frustrating in the way he sort of lounges around the pitch and certain other aspects of his game, there's no denying that he's so crucial to this Arsenal side. And where on earth would we be without Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's goals this season? That is something that you need to consider. Let's have a look at some of your live comments before we sign off. Lots of hellos from Ben Friend. How you doing, mate? Welcome. Brad Richardson talking about Callum Chambers says, I'm gutted for him. Criticised him massively in recent years, but this season he's been our best centre-back. Big shout out to DS Electronics. Let's see what else we've got here in terms of lots of hellos. Basil Hart is not impressed with the rumours linking us with Jerome Boateng. Look, it's not a signing that excites me. It's not something that would get me off my seat. Of course it's not. I'd be lying if I said it was. But given our current predicament, given the fact that we're short on top quality centre-backs and experienced centre-backs, because we've got Lewis, we've got Lewis who's improved under Arteta, we've got Socrates who's improved under Arteta, but they're both still capable of making huge mistakes at key times, and that is something that will no doubt concern the Spaniards. So somebody like Jerome Boateng will probably come in, steady the ship a little bit, and offer us an option, a more experienced option outside of those two, because Rob Holding was back on the bench the other night, but Rob Holding hasn't looked fit since returning from his injury. He's had a few setbacks, which were expected given how long he was out for, but the jury's still out on Rob Holding, whatever people say. What else have we got? Junior Gunner says Ake and Saliba could work. Yeah, it could work in the future. But, it's all ifs and buts, and Arsenal need a solution now, and that's kind of my issue with it at the moment. Wazza11 says, I don't think we should get Boateng. As soon as he makes a mistake, everyone will say he's past it and that it was a bad signing. Arsenic Gunner talks about Boateng and says under Pep he was immense. All valid comments, all great comments. Keep them coming, guys. And don't forget to leave them in the video after the live stream ends as well. That brings us to the end of today's Transfer Daily. We're going to be bringing you this every weekday between now and the end of the month. So please do tune in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know the drill by now. And if you're listening via the audio, please don't forget to leave us a review. I can leave you with a quick message from our sponsors, Loserpool, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. Monday, I should say, not tomorrow. Cheers.